Okay, let's do an experiment. I was been wondering what the difference will be between bread flour and all-purpose flour. I can buy a 10-pound bag of all-purpose flour for half the price of a 5-pound bag of bread flour. So I'm going to make quick rise, no knead bread. Using the exact same recipe. The only difference will be which flour I use to see which makes a better, if there's a difference, a noticeable difference, to see if it will be, if it's worth the price to buy the bread flour over the all-purpose flour. I'm going to start with the all-purpose flour. That's the flour I normally use. This recipe is really simple. It's 3 cups of flour, and I just use the shake method. 2 cups. And 3 cups. Those are little heaping cups, but it's not precise. Making bread is definitely not a precision thing. Okay, and then 1 teaspoon of sea salt. Mix that around. And then 1 teaspoon of yeast. Mix that around. 1.5 cups of water. This is just room temperature. Now I'm just going to mix this up until it all comes together into like a shaggy dough. It's going to seem really dry to begin with, but with this bread, you let it sit for a long time, and the water, the flour will hydrate as it sits, and by the time it's ready to bake, it's a really soft, really sticky, wet dough. So don't worry about it. Just get it together until there's no real dry pieces of the flour left in the bowl. And it takes a few minutes to get it in there, to get it all mixed in. So I'll come back after I make a mess. I'll come back after I get it mixed up. Okay, for some reason my little trigger I use for starting the camera doesn't seem to be working. Starting and stopping the camera doesn't seem to be working. I keep losing the Bluetooth connection. So sorry for that being so long. So this is what your dough will look like to begin with. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this with a damp towel, and I'm going to put it in an oven that's turned off with the light turned on, and use that as a proofer. And I'm going to wait an hour before I mix the batter, or mix the dough for the bread flour batch. That way they'll all end up proofing and rising for the same amount of time, and I'll be able to bake them separately because I only have one Dutch oven to bake them in. So and I will let this rise for 5 hours. So I will come back when I start mixing the bread flour dough. Okay, let's mix up the bread flour bag. I already measured the flour out to save a little bit of time here. So 3 cups of bread flour, and 1 teaspoon of sea salt. Mix that through. 1 teaspoon of yeast. Mix that through. And 1.5 cups of water at room temperature. And again, we'll just mix this up into a shaggy dough. Now, I said previously that making bread isn't an exact science. Making this bread isn't an exact science. There are some that are definitely more involved, but none of them are. I haven't come across one that's too hard, but this one definitely it's not. It's super simple. You just mix it together and let it sit. About once an hour, I usually fold the batter. It just helps build a little bit of extra structure. And since it's so quick for a no-knead bread, only about 5 hours, where a lot of no-knead breads are 24 hours, that folding helps to develop a little extra gluten. And that's it, so it's really easy. And then after the final shaping, you let it rise for about an hour, which we'll get into later in the video. And then throw it in the oven and bake it in a Dutch oven. So I just kind of press it. And I noticed in the other part of the video that these stainless bowls kind of reflect this light. I need to try to do something a little bit different if I make more videos, or when I make more videos for lighting. I'm just using some household LED lights, and I don't want to spend a lot of money on equipment, since I'm obviously not going to do this for trying to make money off of it. But there we go. We're done with that. And again, I will cover this and put it in an oven with the light on, the oven turned off, light turned on. It just adds a little extra heat, and do that for about 5 hours to proof, folding it about once an hour. I'll show you that one time some point in the video. But okay, I'll be back when it's closer to time to do the final shaping. Okay, it's been 2 hours since I did the all-purpose flour bread dough. Oh, I noticed earlier I kept saying batter. I'm also making brownies too, so I got batter and dough mixed up. Sorry about that. So all I do when I do this fold, you can see it's already getting a lot wetter. So all I really do is take it from the side, pull it around, and fold it down. And just stretch it around and push it down. Do it like that. And you can see, I don't know, with this lighting, I don't know if you can see, but you can see there's, hopefully you can see, it's developing the gluten strands. So a couple more hours of this and it'll be ready to put in the oven. Well, final shape and then put in the oven. So that's all there is to it. I'll come back when it's time for final shaping. Okay, it's time for final shaping. It's fairly simple. Just pull it away and do the same thing like I did before, just a fold. Get it shaped into a ball. This is very, I guess you'd say, rustic looking bread, because I don't mess with it to get the surface super smooth or tight. I just get it into a solid ball shape, and then pop it out straight onto a piece of parchment, and then into a bowl for its final rise. I have the oven preheating at 450 degrees with the Dutch oven in it already, so the Dutch oven will be hot. And as soon as I'll let this rise for about half an hour, and then when I put it in to bake, I will put the I will do the final shaping on the bread flour batch. And I will bake this for 25 minutes at 450 degrees with the Dutch oven lid on, and then I will take the lid off and bake it for another 15 minutes. Now I spray the dough with, I mist the dough with water before I put it in to create a little extra steam. And I scored the loaf. I'm not going to show you the baking process. I'm not moving the camera and setting all that stuff up in the kitchen. It's boring anyway. You put it in the Dutch oven, put the Dutch oven in the oven. So we will be back when both loaves are done. That's it. Okay, so the bread is made, and cooled. So let's unwrap. All right. So I'm not gonna say which one is which until after I do the comparison. So let's see what happens. bread fell off the cooling rack. So this one's still a little bit hot, but crumb's a little tight, but it smells awesome. So that's that one. Now let's cut this one. This one's a little hot too. They have pretty much the same crumb. There's no discernible difference in the way it smells. This one did get a little bit of a better ear on it than this one did. But they both got really good oven spring. I can't complain. Crust is the same on both. And side by side. There's a slight difference in color on the crumb, but I can't tell the difference by appearance. So let's go back and let's cut this one. Cut a slice off. Give it a taste. The crumb is chewy and the crust is crusty. Okay, let's go ahead and cut into the other loaf. I've got to say, for this particular bread, I cannot tell a difference at all. The next experiment will be to do the same test with sourdough and see what happens there. If you're interested, subscribe and come back when I post that video. I don't post regularly. I only post when I feel like making some bread. So I can't tell you when that'll be. But this second one was the bread flour. Actually, I'm sorry, take that back. This one was the all-purpose flour. The first one was the bread flour. So, yeah, it's an interesting experiment, and I can't see for this bread there being a difference at all. So, thanks for watching.